Hello everyone, my name is Kingsford Uram Foley, a student of BYU Pathway Worldwide, pursuing Cloud Server Administration in Term 6, 2025. This is week 4, and we're about to do the assignment 4.7, which says Prove Users and Computers. So, without further ado, these are just overview of the assignment we're about to do. Now it says the instruction here is streamlining user and group management using Active Directory, which means we'll have to use our Windows Server Active Directory, a Windows Server which has Active Directory installed on it. So first off, we go into our Windows Server. I've already logged on to my Windows Server, and this is the Windows Server machine. So on the Windows Server, we have our Active Directory domain service here, the ADDS. You can see it here, and it has a DNS attached to it. And here's this is the domain. It says ensign.com. So we've promoted our Active Directory to a domain service, and we can see it here. It says the domain here is ensign.com. So we are about to use the group we are about to use the user and group management to sort of do this assignment. So let's go back to our Active Directory in the Windows Manager. So first off, the first instruction says that we are using, first instruction is using Active Directory users and computers, create the following new organizational units. So we are going to be creating OUs or organizational units in the Active Directory using the users and computers tool. So let's go to, by the way, our Active or Windows Server is installed on VirtualBox. It's a virtual machine installed on a VirtualBox virtual environment. The hypervisor is the VirtualBox we are using. So let's come here. First instruction says we should create organizational units using the computers. Yes, it says we should use the Active Directory users and computers. So this is the tool. Since we've already promoted our domain, our server to a domain, which we can see here, here. So we are going to use this tool, which is the Active Directory users and computers, to create organizational units, which is the OUs. Now we are in the Active Directory users and computers tool, and this is the domain. So under this domain, we are going to be creating organizational units. So what we do is, let's go back and check the first let's check the first organizational unit we are supposed to. So let me minimize this and go to the instructions. It says we should create employees HR, IT, management, research, stakeholders, accounting, and auditors. So let's go to our Active Directory. First one, it says employees. So let's create our we place it on the domain here, and then we go to new. Then we should go down straight to organizational unit, which is this. It says employees. So we are going to create the organizational unit called employees. We can either leave this or check it, uncheck it, protect container from accidental deletion. You can leave it on so that you don't accidentally delete it, and even if you want to delete it, there's a way you do it. So we are just going to leave this one on like that for the meantime, and then we click OK. Now under the inside gov, you see the organizational unit here, which has been created, employees. The next one says HR. So we create the next one, create another one. Another organizational unit. And type in HR. You see it here, it's been created here also. The third one is IT. See it here, IT. I'm going to pause the video and create all the other organizational so that we don't consume time. So I'm going to pause the video here. When I'm done with creating of the organizational unit, we'll continue from there. Now we'll come back. We've created all the organizational units, which are, you can see here them here, auditors, accounting, IT, HR, employees, stakeholders, research, management, and that's it. I think we've created all the organizational units. So now the next instruction here says using Active Directory users and computers, which means you are going to use the same tool, create the following new users. So this time you're going to be creating users. Go back to our domain, create a new user, click on it, come here, user, and what's the name we're supposed to be giving the first user? Sarah. We give Sarah a username, so we can say Sarah at ensign.com. That's the login. Then we click next. Create a password for Sarah, which we can say Sarah 123. So here we can pick this option, password never expires for Sarah, and then we uncheck this one, click next, and then we click finish. Oh, it says our password does not match the requirements. So okay, so let's go back and see the password requirements. So let's create another one for Sarah. Looks like we created a new user. So to confirm we've created, let's just click here, users, and among the users I'm sure we're going to find Sarah somewhere in there. Let's refresh it and see if we find Sarah amongst the users here. Oh, okay. Now since we've refreshed the unsigned domain, we now see the user Sarah in here. So the next one is Ted. So let's now check here. New user. So Ted. I see Ted at edison.com. And then password, we create a password for Ted as well. Again, we uncheck this, and then we check the password never expires for Ted. Click next, click finish. Now we see Ted automatically appearing here as a user. So I'm going to pause the video here and create all the users, since we are basically going to be following the same procedure for all that, so that the video doesn't get too long. So I'm pausing the video right here. Hello, welcome back. We've been able to create all the users. Let's confirm the names we're asked to create. It says Sarah, Ted, Phil, Meritov, Spencer, Tim, Dean, Janine, Pearl, Frank, Sally, Bruce, Steven, and Guy. So let's go check those names out. We see Frank here, yeah, Guy, Janine, Meritov, Pearl, Phil, Sally, Sarah, Spencer, Stephen, Ted, and Tim. Yeah, all these names are users we're supposed to create in the active domain directory, and using the users and computers. So we've done that under the domain unsigned call. So let's go to the next instructions. It says here, using the file explorer, create the following folder, that is promised land. So we minimize the server, then we open the file explorer. So we create a new folder. So let's say if it's on the desktop page, let's create okay, let's go to the downloads and then create a new folder in there using the file explorer. So inside of it says promised land, so let's create new folder. It says promised land. Land. So we have created a promised land folder using the file explorer. So now let's go back to the question and see what's next. The fourth instruction says create the following subfolders within the promised land folder. Promised land folder. Okay, so let's go in there. So go back to the file explorer and then promised land. So let's rewrite the name well. Good. It says we should create a subfolders within this. And what are the subfolders? Let's go check it out again. It says, employees, HR, IT, management, research, accounting, stakeholders, and auditors. Okay, just like we did in the Active Directory using the users and computers. So we are going to create these subfolders within the promised land subfolder. So the first one is employees. This is the folder of the promised land. So we are going to create a subfolder called employees, new employees. We have our first subfolder. Second one says HR. Create another folder again, new. So I'm going to pause the video here and create all the subfolders, so we continue from there after I'm done. Welcome everyone. Welcome back everyone. We've been able to create the subfolders within the promised land folder, which we created in the downloads folders. So this is it: accounting, auditors, employees, HR, IT, management, research, and stakeholders. So let's go back to the next instructions. It says assign the following users to the following organizational units. which means this time we are going to be using the Active Directory users and computers tool like we used before. So let's go to the Active Directory domain. So let's minimize this File Explorer. Okay, assign the following to them. Okay, so we are going to put these users to the organizational units. So the first one says that we are to assign Sarah to HR. So you come look for Sarah here. Here, look at the properties of Sarah. Then in the boxes here, we look for okay, this is the advanced member of, yes. So we add this is part of the domain user, and then we add one. We look for HR, check names. So we add her as a member of. Okay. Check names. HR. Information section that cannot be found. Check the selected object types and then ensure that okay, the object type is groups. I'll have to pause the video and do something. Hold on a second. Hello everyone, welcome back. Sorry I had to go off a bit because I had to do a bit of research on how to move place users into organizational units. So we're back, and over here we see the users here. It says we should move Sarah, which is the first one, to HR. So let's click on Sarah here. Then we'll move Sarah. Click move. Then we come down and find the organizational unit HR. We see it here. Click on it and then press OK. Now to confirm that, let's click on organizational unit HR and see if we find Sarah there. You see Sarah here. So the next one, the next one, let me close this browser here. This browser is beginning to worry us. If we can continue. So let's close it. The next one we are supposed to do is move Ted and Phil to research. Excuse me. Ted and Phil. So Ted here. First, let's do Phil. So we'll move Phil to excuse me, sorry. Research. So Phil, we moved Phil. Now let's move Ted also to research. So let's click on research. We see Phil and Ted in there. Now the next one is Murtaugh to IT. So move Murtaugh to IT. Click on IT, you see Murtaugh in there. So I'm going to pause the video and add everyone to the organizational unit you're supposed to belong to. After that, we continue. So now we've moved all the users to the various organizational units. Let's confirm that. So let's start with the first one. It says Sarah to HR. So let's go to HR. You see Sarah here. Second one says Ted and Phil to research. So let's go to research. See Ted and Phil in it there as users. And the research. Then third one says Murtaugh to IT. IT, you see Murtaugh in there. Then Spencer, Tim, and Dean to stakeholders. So let's click on that. We see that Dean, Spencer, and Tim in stakeholders. Then we have Janine, Frank, and Pearl to management. So let's go to management. We see here Frank, Janine, and Pearl. They're here. Then we say Sally and Bruce to auditors. So let's go to auditors. You see Bruce and Sally there. And then Stephen and Guy to accounting. So let's go to accounting. You see Guy and Stephen there. So we've completed the 5th instruction. So we go to the 6th one. It says assign the following NTFS permissions, user permissions. Sally, full control to HR. Okay. Ted and Ted and Phil modified to the research folder. Sorry, I have a bit of a cold today. Welcome back. Sorry, I had to go clear my throat. Hope it's better now. Pardon my cold, which is worrying me this morning. Anyway, the 5th assignment says the 6th one, which is the last instruction you're supposed to do, is assign the following NFT permissions, user permissions, to the following: Sarah to full control of the HR folder, Ted and Phil to modify permissions to, they can modify, that means make changes to the research folder. Matter that's full control, they determine whatever happens in there. To the IT folder, Spencer, Tim and Dean, they can make changes to the, what do you call it, stakeholders folder. And Janine, Frank and Pro, they can only read and then write but not modify or have full control or access to it. To the management folder, Sally and Bruce have full control of the auditors folder, and Stephen and Guy can modify what do you call it, the accounting folder. So let's start. Let's go to our Windows server. So we are in the promised land folder, and these are the subfolders within it. So the first one says 0 to HR full control. So let's click on HR, right click it, click on the properties. And since we are talking about permissions and what people can do or not, it belongs to the security session. Here we see it here. So groups and users names. So in order to add NFT permissions, we click the edit. Now since we are going to give Sarah a full permission, full control permission on this folder, we click on the add, look for, and then add Sarah, right, sorry, type Sarah here and then check names. Yes, Sarah is a member of the domain, so we add Sarah here, we click OK. And on Sarah, remember, we are supposed to give Sarah full permission, full control. So we check this box, which means Sarah has access to and the ability to modify, write and execute, list folder, folder contents, read, write, and then give special permissions to other, I think this one she doesn't have it, but she has full control of the folder. So let's click apply and OK. So we see here Sarah has full control to this folder, subfolder in the promised land folders we created. And we'll click OK. Next one is Ted and Phil have the ability to, you should give them the ability to modify the research folder. So research here, click on research, properties, go to the security, and then we edit it, we add, and then it says third. We search third, check names, third is there, we add third to that. But remember, third is only supposed to have modification permissions. So we click on the modify, if you suppose that means third can read and execute, list folder content, read, write. They can do that, but they do not have full control of it. So let's just click apply. You see, then we add third and field. I think it's third and field, so let's add field. Let's confirm first. Yeah, third and field. So check names, field is there, click OK, and then on field is also supposed to modify, so we give field the modification permissions, click OK, apply, and OK. So we see field and third here, both of them have modification permissions but not full controls. You see here, so click OK, then click this. The next one is Murtaugh has full control of the IT folder. So we go to IT, right click it, properties, again we go to the security, we edit, then we add so check names, Murtaugh is there. Murtaugh is supposed to have full control, so we give Murtaugh full control of it, and then after we've done that, you see here he has full control of this folder, as you can see. Click OK. The next one, I'm going to pause the video and give all the permissions. After that we continue. Spencer team and then modify to stakeholders. Spencer team and then So read and write. James Franklin Government Management folder. Continue. So like we saw, I've done all the permissions to it. Here it says, let's go back and confirm. Here it says that Sarah full control to HR. So HR, let's go to the properties, security. You see Sarah here. These are the permissions to Sarah. She has full control of it. Then Ted and Phil have the permissions to modify research folder. So research folder, let's see who has permissions to modify it. Properties, security. So So Ted, we see he has modification permissions here, and then Phil also having the same modification permissions here. Okay, you have Murtaugh having full control of the IT folder, IT, properties, security, and we see Murtaugh here having full control of it. You have Spencer, Tim, and Jean, and Dean have modification permissions for this to the stakeholders folder. So go to the stakeholders and confirm that if they do have modification permissions. So we see here Tim here has modification, Spencer has modification permissions, and Dean also has modification permissions. The next one is Janine, Frank, and Pearl do have read and or write permissions to this management folder, to the management folder. So management, properties, security. So we see Jane, yes, Janine has read, and execute, which is part of the read and write. List content, yes, and then read as well. Let me see. I think we made a mistake somewhere here. Right? Yes. We didn't add the right permissions to it. So let's give all of them the right permissions as well. We nearly made a mistake there. It's not confirmed. All of them have the permissions. Then Sally and Bruce do have full control of the auditors folder. So let's confirm that. Auditors, properties, security. Sally, full control of it. You can see here confirmed. Bruce also has full control of it. You can see here confirmed. Last but not the least, Stephen and Guy do have modification permissions to the accounting folder. So accounting folder here. Go to security. Stephen here has modifications. You can see here from modification and all the way down. And then we see Guy also having the same rules here. So following the instructions, we've been able to create organizational units, which is employees, HR, IT, management, research, stakeholders, accounting, and auditors. We were also able to create the users: Sarah, Ted, Phil, Murtaugh, Spencer, Tim, Dean, all the way down to Guy. We were able to create the Promised Land folder using the File Explorer. And then we were able to create subfolders within the Promised Land folder, which we use the File Explorer in creating. So we created that as well within them. We were able to assign the users to the following organizational units. That is Sarah to HR, Ted and Phil to research, all the way down to Stephen and Guy to accounting. Then finally we now assign NFT user permissions to the users concerning the subfolders that we created in the Promised Land folder. So Sarah had full control of it. We were able to prove that. Ted and Phil could modify research folder. Murtoff had full control to the IT folder. We proved that. All the way down to Stephen and Guy modifying, being able to modify the accounting folder. I hope you enjoyed it. It's been a long video, but I hope you did enjoy it. Sorry for the little breakups sometimes, because I had to go clear my throat and all that. Thank you for joining me. Hope to see you next time.